Hello folks, this is Fluorescent FIFA, here for yet another challenge. The last challenge was the own goal only challenge, which was hard, to say the least. And I'm here for another one. First things first, I'm going to pick my team. Yes, I would like to re-enter the cup window, thank you. We do this randomly, whoever we get is who we use. We are in Belgium, and we have got, well, whoever the hell that is. Now, the title of this one is the Assisted Controls Challenge, and you might be thinking, but I thought all of your challenges were you playing against people using assisted controls. You are completely right, all of my challenges are against people using assisted controls. However, normally I use full manual. In this one, I'm going to use full assisted. Now, that may come as a surprise to my regular subscribers, or my long-term subscribers, those who've seen me from the manual movement through to where I am now, knowing that all of my videos are all about full manual. The purposes of all my videos have been to try and get more people playing manual, so you might be thinking, why on earth am I going to use assisted? This is a challenge I came up with for myself a while ago based on something I saw on the EA forums. There was a thread on those forums, which is probably still there, but I haven't looked in absolutely ages, about the manual movement series. And there were a couple of people on there who were basically arguing about the skill level between manual and assisted. And there were some people who were basically saying that full assisted requires the same level of skill as manual. Now, there was also a guy, in fact, who said that assisted requires more skill than manual because manual allows you to exploit flaws in the game. Now, actually, the guy who said that assisted requires more skill than manual, his arguments had more merit. But obviously, I dispute them. But I decided, instead of just flat out saying no, I said, you know what, I'm going to try this out and I'm going to use full assisted and see how I do. Bear in mind, I have not played a game using full assisted controls in more than 2 years. So this could be interesting, because I'm going to lose a lot of the benefits of manual that I've gone on about. The ability to really exploit space, the ability to play passes that you can't really play on assisted. And this is going to be really interesting. I want to see how I do. So whether or not you class this as a challenge, I don't really know. I think it could be interesting. But there are a couple of major things I want to talk about, and some of these might come as a surprise to some of my viewers. I'll make sure we get a game. And then we'll go to it. So what I am going to end up talking about in this video is something which is a big area, I think, something I haven't really thought about in much detail, but it kind of stems from something that happened a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned in the previous video that I decided to stop getting annoyed with games, which I have managed to pretty much do. But one thing pretty close to that, and one of the things that sort of made me really think about it, someone put a comment on one of my videos saying, I bet you use manual controls as an excuse when you lose to assisted. Now at the time I didn't like that, but actually when I actually stopped and thought about it, I realised that he was right. What happens is that a lot of manual players, and this is where things are going to get interesting, a lot of manual players, myself included, I mean I have been as guilty of this as anybody, have this kind of air of elitism. This belief that playing on manual makes us better players than people who use assisted. And I think there's a fine line between being a better player and being a more skillful player. There's a difference. Obviously, I personally think that there is more skill involved in certain aspects of manual, but at the same time, I think that manual makes certain things easier because of what it enables you to do. Obviously, it's difficult to get the hang of, and if you've seen some videos from some other big YouTubers recently, Calfreezy has made a video where he's used full manual controls and found them difficult. Nepenthes has made a video where he's used full manual controls and found them difficult. But a lot of sort of people are sorry. What was I on about? A lot of people have kind of been trying out manual recently. It's been getting more exposure. But one of the things that I know has put off some one of the things that's put off some assisted people from manual is the sort of air of elitism of the manual community. The way that we, well, I say we, some of us, I mean, I have been guilty of this, I'm not going to pretend I haven't. But the way that people view themselves as more, oh, hello. Oh! The way that people view themselves as just being better in general because they play manual FIFA. There was a comment on a video, a goal compilation from one of the bigger YouTubers. It was just the normal kind of compilation you get. There were plenty of skill move runs, there were some long shots in there, and that kind of thing. And there were a couple of comments on there which I saw, which really were in the process of getting thinking about this. And it was basically saying that I have complained in the past about these things being unrealistic. And, I think what we've mistaken is the fact that the people who upload compilations like that know they're unrealistic. The comment that really caught my eye on the video was when someone said, these guys aren't pretending to be the best FIFA players, they're not pretending to be the most skillful. Their videos are about scoring goals that look nice and are fun to try and do. And I think that's something where, there we go, I think that's something where the manual community's got things wrong. And my attitude has changed towards this quite a lot recently. The the nature of viewing other people's videos as sort of just outwardly saying this isn't any good because it's not realistic isn't right, if that makes sense. I know that as I said, I've been guilty of it. But I've changed my attitude, and actually, one thing I did always admire was the skill move runs in those videos, because I wish I could do some of those. Because whilst they may be unrealistic, those take skill. Those are very difficult to do. And it's why you don't see that many people able to do them. But it's, the long shots are unrealistic, and ultimately, I think it's something the manual community needs to remember, is that people make those videos because they look good, not because they... Oh, no. People make those videos because they look good and that, people enjoy them. That's something that needs to be remembered. People upload their videos because people enjoy them. And I think the manual community needs to, in order to help itself, needs to stop kind of being so harsh on the assisted community. I know this might sound strange coming from me, but I need to stress, I have changed my attitude. And when I play against assisted players now on Ultimate Team, whatever, I've started sending them messages after the game and just saying, well played, that was some nice stuff, that kind of thing. Oh, how has he saved that? Well played and that kind of thing, and just sort of being much more accepting that people should use the controls that they want to use. At the end of the day, they've paid, £40 for the game if they bought it new, or however they got it, or whatever your currency is, whatever it translates across to in your currency. What's he doing? And, they're entitled to play the way they want to play. They're entitled to use the controls they want to use. I think, obviously, if you've seen the introduction to manual controls video, the recent one I did, if you watch that video carefully, you'll notice that at no point do I say the word assisted in that video. And that's very, very deliberate. What I changed my approach from was what I did in the manual movement. If you've not seen the manual movement series, it was basically a series where I played on full manual controls against assisted players. First I just played some cup matches, tried to win the head-to-head cup. Then I moved on to the league. I've stopped that series since, but one of them, whilst it was in general I think pretty entertaining, it was well received, it really helped my channel grow. The main criticism I got throughout that video was that I spent too much time sort of saying manual's harder because of this, or manual's more difficult for this reason, or assisted's easier, or assisted requires no skill, and things like that. When actually, it's not entirely true. I mean, you've sort of seen here, even with full assisted on, I'm not exactly even someone I like to think I'm a good manual player. It doesn't necessarily make me a good player on assisted. So I certainly think that whilst obviously on assisted the accuracy of your passes and your shots is done for you, it's a different way of playing. It's not as simple as I made out in that series. And I think I was probably doing people a disservice. I certainly would still think that manual is more difficult. And I think, as I mentioned, the big YouTubers have tried it, and certainly they seem to think that manual is hard as hell at first. But once you get used to it, the reason you play manual is because you like the benefits of it, not just, because it's harder. And I think that that's something the manual community needs to appreciate more, is that actually, these other controls aren't so bad. And we have, obviously, it's a bit of a shame in Ultimate Team where you don't have a filter for manual v manual, because certainly sometimes manual versus assisted can be a bit mismatched. I think shooting is the main one that's the problem. Having played this game for only 40 minutes now, using full assisted, I can assure you I much, much, much prefer manual passing, because some of these through balls have been going nowhere near where I've intended. And I think wow, we've got lag. And I think it's just a case of preference, really. And I think the thing I mentioned earlier about using manual controls as an excuse, I did actually end up doing that. I did that throughout the manual movement series. Some of the things I said was, he's on assisted, he's got to score, he's going to score, or I'm on manual, so I can't do this. And that was really not the approach I should have taken, hence why my approach has changed. And the point of this series is not to sort of highlight things that happen in assisted as compared to manual. I'm sorry about the lag, by the way. The point of this is more just for a bit of fun. But oh no. The point of this is more just for a bit of fun. But it is, but my videos in general are now going to move away from the kind of, oh no. What's he given? Oh. Right. My videos have moved away from the kind of focusing on assisted and the flaws of assisted or whatever, and I don't have that attitude anymore. I've changed my attitude, and I think some people in the manual community need to do the same thing, because I don't think we help ourselves with this kind of air of elitism that some of us have. At the same time, there is a flip side to this. I think that one of the things that's really good about the likes of Calfreezy and Nepenthes doing their manual controls videos is it raises awareness about manual controls, because I know that some assisted players have commented on some manual players' videos and just instantly dislike them because they think it's boring and don't appreciate them or whatever, and don't realise really about manual controls how difficult it is. I think the big YouTubers playing on manual controls is really will demonstrate to people just how hard it is. And that was almighty close. I'm getting sick of this lag. This is really bad. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to give it a moment to sort itself out. And I think in order to help the manual community, obviously the whole point of this channel is to try and get the manual community to grow and more people to play it. And I think on a small scale I've succeeded, because I have had quite a few messages from people saying that they play manual now, or I've made them switch to manual, which is fantastic, and I really appreciate that. But I think much more people would switch to manual if the manual community was kind of much more accommodating and didn't just say you're rubbish because you do this or whatever. So, and that isn't true. I think when you look at the sort of YouTube skillers videos, what they do, maybe not so much the long shots. The long shots just kind of look cool, but the skill move runs they really are difficult to do, and they impress me. They might not be for everyone because they're not realistic, so it might not be to your taste. But you can't really deny that it's difficult to do and it requires skill. And I think that the manual community would be much better off if we acknowledged that, whilst at the same time liking what we like. And that's an unfortunate equaliser. If I could defend, I'd be alright. I think the thing that annoyed me in general actually was not the kind of the YouTube videos from the skillers. It was more the kind of attitude of when you kind of like what just happened there, which was he's scored a simple finish from 10-12 yards which hasn't been done for him and has run off celebrating it for 15 seconds. That's the kind of thing that I think annoys people more. But I think the approach I took in the manual movement series was wrong. And what I should have been doing was focusing on the benefits of manual the whole time. It was the main bit of criticism I got throughout. That's not who I was aiming for. The main bit of criticism I got throughout the series was that I was sort of too harsh on assisted. And on reflection, having watched some of the episodes back, people are absolutely right. And I don't know why I had that attitude in the first place, in all honesty. This is a bit better. Ugh. But I mean, playing on assisted now, you know, I have to be honest, I am not finding this easy. Because the passes aren't going where I want them to, some of the time. Some of the time they are. And obviously some of the time the finishing is going to be much more reliable, in general, I think. But I had a couple of chances which I reckon I would have put away on manual that weren't put away on here, on assisted. Oh, jeez. So I think that I certainly think manual is, you know, still more rewarding and more satisfying because you know that you did everything. But I think I have definitely, having tried these out and played with them again, I have definitely done. There we go. I've definitely done assisted a bit of a disservice in the past. It plays a different game as well. I'm finding, whilst I'm trying to sort of play with my usual style, I'm not finding it that easy. What I probably should try and do is see if I can do some of the more unrealistic stuff and see how we go. But again, I would love your guys. Oh man, that was terrible. I would love. I guess I'm using a 2.5-star team as well, which isn't helping because obviously stats are making much more of a difference than I'm used to, and I don't know these players at all. But it would be really good if I could get your guys' opinions on this again. Get it? Oh, get it? Oh. I would love your guys' opinions on what I've been talking about. What is, you know, the attitude of the manual community? What's your attitude towards assisted? Because I suspect some of you probably weren't aware of the fact that my attitude has changed and that I changed my opinion on things. One of the main reasons I did it was because I was tired of getting annoyed at games, especially on Ultimate Team, where I was just constantly blaming, oh, he's on assisted shooting, so I'm going to lose. At the end of the day, I've made the choice to play on manual. You know, I haven't been forced into that. I know, obviously, I prefer it, and on reflection, playing this game, whilst I think a couple of the finishes have been sort of very tidy and helped by the fact that I'm on assisted, some of the passing build-up has been tricky, it's been awkward, there have been passes going not where I want them to because I'm not fully in control. And I think I play manual because I prefer to play on manual. That's what I enjoy more. People play on assisted or whatever combination of controls they use because that's what they prefer. And I think blaming, saying, oh, I'm losing because I'm against someone playing on assisted, when you've chosen to play on full manual against assisted players, is just not right, really, is now my attitude. And obviously, in the manual movement series, I was partially doing it for entertainment. You know, I was deliberately playing against assisted players, and I wasn't just going to literally just not say anything about it, because otherwise what was the point of me playing against assisted players if I wasn't going to do something about demonstrating the differences, damn it. But I think still the way I sort of always was constantly saying, oh, he's on assisted, so this happens, was not right. Back heel, lovely, finish, beautiful. Oh, what a save. Oh, he's given a penalty, I'll take that. So yeah, I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Let me know what you think. Dink! Oh no, I've just been caught with my trousers down there. That's awkward. Oh, I didn't mean that. That went miles. Oh, that's terrible. I shouldn't be doing that with 2.5-star teams. But I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this. You know, what do you think of the sort of manual community's attitude, the assisted community's attitude towards manual? Because I think that now when I played on Ultimate Team, I was messaging people after the game just saying, you know, well done, good game, or you were unlucky in that. And I just found myself enjoying the game so much more with that change in attitude. That'll do. So obviously the sort of challenge in this, I've won, I guess you could call it comfortable, but I wouldn't say it was that easy. And I think, has he gone away? Oh, alright then. Finesse shot. I think he's angry. Is he going to give me the ball? Oh, I think I annoyed him a bit. That's a shame. But I've enjoyed the game much more since I've sort of not really cared what controls people are using, because I know I've... Oh, that was meant to go to the guy in the middle. That's one of the things I really don't like about assisted, not so much from a skill or ability point of view or anything, just the fact that passes don't go where I want them to go. It's that one of the main arguments I've had when trying to promote manual is that you get control, you decide where your passes go, you decide who the ball is passed to. And it's just, that was nowhere near. Oh, win it. That'll do. And it's just, it's so much more satisfying. Like, you know, these goals, I've enjoyed scoring a goal, but I haven't had the fact that I know that I did everything. But in terms of answering the question of whether or not manual is more skillful than assisted, I think a 4-1 win probably shows that assisted isn't especially hard to pick up in comparison to manual, because like I said, that was my first assisted game in a good 2 years, 2 months. I didn't enjoy it all that much, but I think more of the focus on this video was more to do with what I said. So I would love your guys' opinions if you let me know what you think of what I said. Obviously some of it might be a bit surprising or whatever, but I would love to know what you think anyways. This was a success. Obviously this was not a challenge set by you guys, this was a challenge I set myself, but it was because it was about something very specific I wanted to talk about. So the challenge was win a game using full assisted controls, which might sound a bit weird, and regardless, it is challenge passed. If you have another challenge that you would like me to do, please leave it in a comment below the video, and as long as it's not impossible, then I will probably get round to giving it a go at some point. And that is the last time I will ever do that, because that was horrible, quite frankly. So, despite what actually happened in this video, in future, play manual.